Hey ladies and gentlemen, Steven here from Redolessence. Welcome back to another video. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. And in today's episode, we're going to be going over my top 10 most complimented fragrances in my collection. So make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin the video, I do want to mention that if you like this type of content, I would really appreciate it if you could support this channel by subscribing to it. All you have to do is click that red button in the corner and also make sure to click on the bell icon and enable all notifications for this channel. So whenever I put out another video like this, it will get delivered straight to your feed. Now, let's go ahead and get started. A couple of things that I want to mention. The first thing is that this is the second time that I'm ever shooting a video like this on my channel. I realized in the past 8 years since I've started my channel, in the past 1,200 videos that I have uploaded to my channel, I've only done this video once. And so it's been many years since I've done this. And so I thought to myself, I'm long overdue. And this also happens to be one of my most requested videos. And so I'm very happy to do this video, and there's no differentiation between designer or niche in this video. You're actually going to see a little bit of both. And the second thing that I want to say, I know a lot of people out there sort of perpetuate the same narrative that they wear fragrances for themselves and they don't care about compliments and it's very personal and they only care about the art and blah, blah, blah. Yes, me too. I think we all wear fragrances for ourselves, ergo the reason why we spray it on our own skin, right? And a lot of us are not seeking validation. We're not looking for a compliment, but it is irrefutable that whenever somebody compliments you, it puts you in a better state of mind. It enhances your spirits, it elevates your mood, and I'm always willing to accept this kind gesture, this verbal gesture from somebody. And so, yeah, I do like receiving compliments. I don't fish for them, and I certainly never ask people, hey, what do you think of the way that I smell, unless it's my wife or something like that. But whenever I do get a compliment, it's always a cherry on top, right? So let's go ahead and get started. I do have a few honorable mentions and one caveat. The caveat being that I'm not including this fragrance in the list. This is Viva More by Navitus Parfums, the brand of which I am the creative director. And of course, there's a conflict of interest there. So I'm not going to be including this fragrance in the list, but I've been wearing this fragrance for many months, although it came out back in February. And I love the way that this one smells. Not only that, but people compliment me on it all the time. Lemon, pineapple, you have this dry down of leather and vanilla. It's just a very well polished, very well put together fragrance, and I really enjoy wearing this one all the time. So that's the honorable mention. That is a conflict of interest. I'm not going to include it in the list. And a few other honorable mentions: for a boozy vanilla, Side Effect by Inicio Parfum Privé. For a more decadent gourmand vanilla, I love wearing Solid by Arabian Oud. I have a review of this one. Follow the link down below if you're curious to learn more. Elysium by Roja Parfum. The thing about this one though is I tend to get complimented in the first few hours following application. If it's been 6 or 7 hours later, chances are I'm not going to get a compliment on this one just because of that aroma profile. It's a bit more citrus heavy, it's a bit more volatile, so it's not the type of DNA that is likely to land you compliments 7, 8, 9 hours into application, but this is one of my favorite smells ever. And then of course we have Versace Porom. This is an Alberto Moria's creation, one of his best, very clean smelling, but I also received 1 or 2 negative comments when I was wearing this one as well. So for that reason, I decided to not include it in this list. One of my coworkers, his name is Louis, he actually said I smelled boring. So anyways, there's that. So let's get started. I forced myself to put this fragrance in the number 10 spot because if I don't, I'm gonna put it in the number 1 spot. And when you watch all of these top 10 most complimented fragrance videos, what is usually in the number 1 spot? Well, they're not lying. The fragrance is Aventus. For anybody who's interested in knowing, I have the 2017 T01 batch. This one is a little bit heavier on the vanilla from what I've read in the Aventus lounge, but I really enjoy wearing this one. I get tons of compliments on this one. I've been complimented in restaurants. I've been complimented on the street. I've been complimented at work. I've even had people wanting me to write down the name of this fragrance so that they can go out there and try it for themselves. And then when I tell them the price, they freak out, right? But Aventus. So this is going to be my number 10 spot. Number 9 spot, on the other hand, is a fragrance that's not really a fragrance. This one is by the company Eccentric Molecules, and this is called Molecule 01. I think most people in the community who are well versed with this company and what they do, or what Geza Schoen does, this fragrance is a singular fragrance in the sense that it contains only 1 note. So the note is Isoe Super, kind of has this musky, woodsy, vetiver-y smell. And a lot of people say it almost has like this pheromone-like effect. And I actually do agree with that. This actually happens to be my scent of the day, and I am layering this with something else. So this is a really good fragrance if you're looking for something that's layerable, pardon the neologism, but I love wearing this fragrance. Wonderful, wonderful fragrance, so easy to pull off. And this is a fragrance that my nose tunes out right away. People have actually left a comment on my review of this fragrance, and they said, man, I bought this one and then I had to return it because I couldn't smell it. Yes, that's what happens. You will become the victim of olfactory fatigue. However, other people will still be able to smell it on you. And so just be patient. People are gonna get a whiff of it. The next fragrance on this list is one of my hidden gems, I guess you can say. It's an underrated compliment getter. Really doesn't get spoken about much in the community, but it seems like almost every time I wear this one, I get a compliment from it. So it has a pretty high batting average, not the best. And I think one of the reasons why has to do with its longevity or lack thereof. And this one by Victoria's Secret is called Very Sexy for Him. Now, wearing this fragrance is not going to make you sexy, right? It's just the name. And I think that's a lot of things that a lot of people have a misconception about, that they misconstrue, that simply putting on a fragrance is going to make people compliment you. That's not how it works. You have to put yourself out there. You have to be social. You have to have a kind and friendly demeanor about you. All of these things will directly contribute to you getting a compliment, right? If you're kind of an angry person all the time and you don't really socialize, you're not going to get compliments. But I do have a lot of really close friends at the place in which I work, and whenever I wear this one, I get a lot of compliments. So I really like this one, and just reminds me I need to wear it more. The next one on this list is by Parfums de Marly, and it's called Percival. Now, I wanted to like this one a little bit more initially. It's a very safe DNA, wonderful fragrance. I really enjoy wearing this one. It has this icy, mentholated, minty vibe, lavender heavy, this sort of modern pseudo fougere. I really like the way that it's constructed, and I think the perfumer Hamid Merati Kashani did a wonderful, wonderful job with this one, and I've actually had a behind-the-scenes peek of how it was made. But whenever I wear this one, I do get compliments as well. Again, it's not like overflowing through the roof types of compliments, but it's like, hey, you smell nice, right? And so I'm fine with that. I'm not looking for somebody to, you know, salivate or otherwise. The next fragrance that I would like to feature on this list is actually my scent of the day, and it's the fragrance that I'm wearing alongside Molecule 01. I have a base or an underbody of Molecule 01, and I did about 5 or 6 sprays of this one, and this one is quite strong to my nose. And surprisingly, this one is Office for Men by Fragrance One. Or maybe I should say not surprisingly, because we all know that Jeremy Fragrance, he holds compliments and receiving compliments in high regard, and I would imagine that that was one of his intentions when it came to the construction of this fragrance. And I have to say he did knock it out of the park. Whenever I wear this fragrance, I do get a lot of compliments, and I think that that was kind of the function of this fragrance. You know, it's very ergonomic in that sense, and so I really do enjoy that utilitarian approach that this fragrance has, and I'm going to be using it a lot more, especially now that it's getting a little bit warmer outside. So Office for Men by Fragrance One. The next fragrance on this list, a little bit of a caveat here as well, because there are times when I wear this particular flanker. The fragrance from this line that I've gotten the most compliments with is actually the original, but there's just something about the original that I don't wear it anymore. You know, a lot of people know what it is, and so this one actually throws in a nice subtle twist, and this is Acqua di Gio Profumo by Giorgio Armani. I really enjoy wearing this one. You have the patchouli, you have that incense. It's not smoky or anything like that. It's not resinous. It's a little bit resinous, but it's not vanillic or overly challenging or dense in the way that a lot of resin dominant fragrances are. But you do smell that hint of incense in there with that patchouli. And it's a much darker, more green take on Acqua di Gio. I do think, however, that Acqua di Gio Profondo will probably get you more compliments, but I can't say I've worn it as much as I've worn this one to be able to experience the same volume of compliments. And if anybody here is curious to know, this is the special blend version. I don't think there's a difference between Profumo and the special blend version. They kind of smell the same to me. I think the only difference is like a sustainably sourced program or initiative that they took when it comes to the note of patchouli. I could be wrong on that, but they smell the same to me. And the next fragrance on this list is actually a hybrid, and this one is by the company Parfum Vintage, and you can see that I wore this one a lot, and this one is called X-Batch. Now, I do own both X-Batch and X-Batch Intense. I actually prefer the way that this one smells a little bit more. I find this one to be a little bit more diffusive. And for those of you who don't know, this is a hybrid of Creed's Aventus, which is in the number 10 spot, and also Dior's Sauvage, which may or may not be on this list. But this one is a really well put together hybrid. I enjoy wearing this one. Every time I do get complimented on it, and it has a much higher batting average, I would say, than the other fragrances that I've spoken about so far. But there are times, and this is the caveat, there are times when I'm in the mood to wear just Aventus. There are times when I'm in the mood to wear just Dior Sauvage. And so this one is that compromise, like, okay, I'm gonna be wearing both today. And so could you achieve the same effect if you layer the two? Yeah, possibly. But if you want to take the thought out of it and you want somebody else to do the work for you, check out X-Batch. It's one that I wear a lot and I have been wearing a lot. The next fragrance on this list is one that is not displayed in this list, and it's actually Invictus Aqua by Paco Rabanne. So I own the 2016 version, and I also own the more recent iteration as well. However, I know that the 2016 version is becoming increasingly harder to find. I know Parfum Vintage has their own version of it, which is called Aqua. It's just simply Aqua. But if you're looking for the most inexpensive alternative, I would recommend Zara's Soul. And this is one that I haven't been wearing much of, just because, you know, you can kind of tell I've been wearing the summer variant, which actually came in the same box. And I think the two 100 mLs, if this is, yeah, it's 100 ml, the 200 mLs were like 20 bucks. So you're getting 200 milliliters worth of liquid for like 20 bucks, which I think is quite stellar in my opinion. The number 2 fragrance on this list is by the company Dior, and this one is called Dior Sauvage. And sure enough, it is in this list. I think the most memorable experience that I had when I was wearing this one is the very same day when I bought it. I took a trip to Old Navy because I wanted to buy a few more graphic tees. And I was walking up and down the aisle, and this one girl who worked there kept looking at me. And I made my way up to the front counter, and then I received probably what was the best compliment. She goes, "Oh my goodness, is that you that smells so good?" And I said, "I think so. I am wearing a fragrance today." She goes, "Oh my God, I was following him up and down the aisles to, you know, see if it was actually you who smelled like that." And she turned to the cashier on her left with whom she was working, and she goes, "Doesn't he smell good?" And then she goes, "Yeah, you do smell really good." So it was one of those, you know, really humbling, really flattering, I should say, experiences. But Dior Sauvage, if you're looking for something that unquestionably gets compliments, definitely check it out. I think the one drawback might be that it's been out for a few years now, and they have a few flankers to it, and a lot of people are wearing Dior Sauvage now. So the number 1 fragrance on this list is the fragrance, not necessarily the one that I've gotten the craziest compliments with, but it's the fragrance that I have the highest batting average with, which means that I can almost guarantee that every time I wear this fragrance, I'm going to get a compliment on it. And I'm not doing it for the compliments again. I just like the way that it smells. I find that it's rather linear. I can see that there's inevitably and unquestionably something about it that just works really, really well with the general population. I've worn it to my work many, many times. I've worn it when I was just casually going out, spending time with the wife. I've worn it, I've worn it out to dinner as well. And it seems like every time I wear it, it gets compliments. And I'm actually surprised that this one doesn't get spoken about a little bit more in the community, but it is an older fragrance, so I totally understand that. And this one is by the company Gucci, and this one is called Gucci Guilty Black. Now, it's been, you can tell how much I wore it. It's actually below the midway point. It's been a very long time since I've reviewed this one. And so I'm not entirely sure what's in this one that makes it different from the other Gucci Guilty versions. I know I've tried the Love Edition, which is very bright on the citrus, not gonna get you compliments in the same way that this will. I've also tried Gucci Guilty Oud, which is I prefer the smell of that one over this one, but that one will not get you nearly as many compliments. It's more of like this fruity, rosy oud sort of a fragrance. But then there's something about this one that every time I put it on, people have the urge to ask me what I'm wearing. And that's the thing, it's one of the most plain scents that I have in my collection. I can't even say that every time I wear it, I enjoy smelling myself, because it's very ho-hum. It's just very sort of, it does smell good, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't pique my interest the way that some of these other fragrances pique my interest. And anyways, that's it. Gucci Guilty Black. I love wearing this one. I get tons of compliments every time I wear it. Again, I don't fish for them. I enjoy wearing fragrances for myself, but it's always nice when I receive a compliment on my fragrance, and it's nice for people to be generous in the way that they compliment other people. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. These have been my top 10 most complimented fragrances in my collection as of the spring of 2020. Maybe if there's enough of a demand, I will do one that's just designer and one that's just niche. If you like them sort of, you know, if you like this amalgam and you like them brought together, let me know, leave a comment down below. I'm also curious to know, what are your most complimented fragrances in your collection? I would also be curious to know what they are. Go ahead and leave a comment down below, and I will try to respond to every comment as well. Once again, if you took something of value from this video, please subscribe to this channel by clicking on the red button in the corner, and also make sure to enable notifications by clicking on the bell icon. This way, whenever I do upload future videos, it will get delivered straight to your feed. You never need to worry about missing any of my future content. Thanks again for watching. I love you all, appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Bye.